Why is it that when black men don't follow the Democrat Party political script and we don't vote for the candidates that the Democrat Party and often black women favor, we're met with hostility? If we dare to think differently, to cast our votes based on what we truly believe align with our values, we're suddenly seen as betraying our own community. Why does having our own voice make us targets? And how is that not a form of voter suppression? When people are pressured, shamed, or attacked for daring to think differently, it's more than just silencing an opinion. It's a targeted assault on our freedom to choose, to challenge leadership, and to truly seek change. Suppressing diverse voices in the black community is every bit as harmful as denying black people the right to vote. It keeps us in line, silenced, and afraid to stand for what we truly believe. Most conservative men are family men. We are typically married with kids, and we are engaged in family life every day. If we lose our jobs, we take on the role of a stay-at-home dad with pride, not shame. We don't see providing for and protecting our family as just a role we play. It is fundamentally a core part of who we are. And when I say conservative, I'm not just talking about Republicans or party lines. There are plenty of men with conservative values who don't identify as Republican, but they still believe in family, responsibility, and tradition. And before anyone begins to rebut by saying, liberal men do this too, I get it. Yes, there are liberal men who are married, who have kids, who are involved fathers, but I'd argue that many of those same men, even if they identify as liberal, actually hold more traditional values than they let on. It's just that in mixed company, especially when their wives or female friends are around, they're less likely to voice those values. I've been in enough discussions with both liberal men and women to notice this pattern. As a black conservative, I'm no stranger to taking the heat from liberals and black women who don't hold back. And the liberal men, they sit quietly, nodding along, complicit in their silence. They go with the flow, too cautious to speak up. Yet afterwards, they'll slip over to me and confess, I actually agree with a lot of what you said, but you know how it is. There's always that careful but, you know how it is. It's as though they fear the tension at home more than they value standing for anything real. They'd rather keep the peace than risk a shred of honesty, choosing comfort over conviction every time. This is where it gets even more frustrating when we turn this topic towards the black community. Active, positive fathers are rare in our community, and that's a sad truth we have to face. So here I am, an engaged father who prioritizes my kids, supports my family, and stands firm in my conservative beliefs. Because of that, I get a mix of reactions. Single black moms often approach me with admiration for how involved I am with my children's lives and for how much I care. Some even ask me to be a positive influence to their sons, as if their sons don't have fathers of their own that should be held accountable for that role. But here's the irony. While I'm getting praise for being a father, I'm also getting attacked for my beliefs. They'll say they admire my parenting, but the moment I talk about my conservative views, I get labeled as a sellout, a traitor, or worse. I'm seen as a problem for supporting someone like Trump, or for just voting Republican. Even though I'm living the values that most black people claim to want in our community: stability, responsibility, and family. None of that energy, none of that criticism goes towards the deadbeat dads who abandon their kids, or the guys who keep contributing to the cycle of broken homes. No one holds accountable the gangbangers who are out here tearing apart the community. The same community we're all supposedly trying to protect. And the thing is, that same liberal apparatus that points the finger at people like me seems more focused on keeping the narrative going instead of solving the real problems in the black community, like fatherless homes and out-of-control crime. Instead of acknowledging the importance of fathers, personal responsibility, and real values, Liberals and black women will demonize black conservative men, those of us who are stepping up and doing what's right. They'll push this idea that somehow our beliefs are the problems and that we're the ones holding community back. Meanwhile, they look the other way when it comes to the real issues like shootings, robberies, and assaults. Liberals and black women will then turn around and still expect black conservative men to clean up everyone else's mess. It's a frustrating cycle where single black moms make poor choices in partners, often ignoring the red flags, only to ask black conservative men to step up and be father figures to their children later. Instead of taking responsibility for their choices, they look to us to fill in the gaps. And if we don't or we push back, we're the villains. In 2016, Donald Trump delivered what I believe was the most compelling political pitch to the black community I had ever heard. He
living in
asked,
poverty, your schools are no good, you have no jobs, 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?
for all of Obama's eloquence, he could never connect with black men in the same way Trump did with that straight-to-the-point, no BS question. The reality is, they are not like us. It's a sentiment that rings true. And unfortunately, Obama is part of the day, a servant to the liberal power structure. Trump, on the other hand, understands human nature, particularly the survival instincts that black men have had to hone more than any other group in America. Instead of meeting us on that basic human level, Obama chooses to scold black men for trying to do what's best for ourselves and our families. All this smoke that black women, and especially Democrats, direct towards black conservative men amounts to a character lynching, an attempt to strip credibility away from those committed to protecting the black community. If that isn't a form of voter suppression, a calculated attack on our freedom to choose, to think independently, and to stand firm in our beliefs, then I don't know what is.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the Brothas. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.